Kathy, congrats
Oh.
on Screen Actors Guild Award.
Yes,
How amazing.
second one for Orange. We won Best Ensemble twice now, which is amazing, and it was very surprising actually because I don't know, we were up against Transparency, and you just think, oh, you won it once, but I don't know, to win something twice in a way makes you feel like, wow, this couldn't be just like a few people liking this. This has got to be, you know what I mean? It's like always the human heart questions. And so it felt really amazing to have that happen. And I'm so glad for Orange. I'm so happy for them.
Looking back now, going on 4 seasons ago, would you have ever thought, this was the infancy of streaming TV shows. And when you got the part where you like, this is going to be a hit, or you're like, I just went to work. When I got the part, I just went in to shoot it. I didn't really think about anything. I don't really think about the distance that something is going. I just sort of do the day. And then they called me to come and shoot more, and then they called me to come and shoot more, and then they called me to come and shoot more, and 4 years later, so that's how it really has gone down. But 5, 6, 7 just renewed, right, for 3 more years.
Exactly. So that's very exciting, and we'll see. I don't know where our storyline will go and all of that. I don't really know. I'm very grateful for Orange in my life for so many levels, but I don't know where it's all going to go. And I just shot 3 features in a row, supporting on 3 features, which were amazing. Crazy Famous, Catfight, and what is the name of the third feature that I shot? Okay, well, that was an interesting title. Breaking Brooklyn, which is truly genius.
And in between, why are we here and behind the stage?
We are here, and I'm going to let Eric take that. But Eric is
here.
Now I'm doing a play, which feels so amazing. And this is Eric's theater company, Resonance Theater Company.
Eric Parness,
Yes, so take it away.
Yeah, this is Resonance Ensemble's, 11th season. And what we do is we pair plays like Kathy starring in a play called Burning right now. And this play was inspired by Cyrano de Bergerac, a classic story of a man who struggles to feel worthy of the love of his life. And what we've done is we pair these 2 plays together. Kathy plays the role of Sai, the takeoff of Cyrano, and she is...
Oh, right, because Cyrano is CY.
Did you just figure that out?
I just figured that out. I'm so glad we did this interview.
Great. Well, it is opening night, so we still have time.
You still have a little bit of time. You're good.
So Sai is a take on Cyrano, and similar to Cyrano, Sai also feels unworthy of the love of her life. But the situation's a contemporary situation. It takes place today. Well, it takes place in 2008. Sai was a woman who served as an enlisted sergeant in the U.S. Army, and was removed for her sexuality. She's a lesbian, and she was having a relationship with another woman, and she chose to leave because of the complications of politics at the time. Don't ask, don't tell, and it caused her some major psychological trauma that she's been dealing with in her life.
But I think too, it's what's so dynamic to me about this play, and I didn't know anything about the military. I mean, I knew absolutely zilch, except that I'm very glad they protect me, in case of invasion from whomever. But women in the military have a really tough time.
Yeah.
And this is something that I didn't understand. I didn't know. Women are raped in the military, and the rape is hidden as anything else that it can be called. And if these women continue to speak up, there have been many, many cases where these rapes have led to the death of these women. And then these deaths were termed suicides.
Yep.
And so, this is sort of factual data that this amazing playwright has really found.
Yeah.
And what's so exciting about this play is what is the definition of collateral damage? I mean, collateral damage to the heart, collateral damage. Are our female soldiers just collateral damage? I mean, are they completely worthless individuals in terms of the bigger picture? Does the individual matter in terms of the bigger picture? And when you want to keep your best killers in the battlefield, and one of them happens to be a rapist and happens to rape your soldiers, at base. Is that a problem for you, or do you just keep it all quiet, silence the women, and keep that guy back on the battlefield? These are real questions.
Yeah, serious issues,
It's
right?
very serious issues, and the way it's handled in this play
Yeah.
is so provocative and interesting and dynamic. I think it's one of the best plays that I have really felt like I've been involved in, and I've been involved in so many wonderful plays. So I'm very humbled and grateful and proud to be a part of it.
One of the great things about the play is, although it is an issue play and it's tackling a very important contemporary issue that we have to deal with, it's also dramatized in a way that the storytelling is so beautifully done.
Yeah.
Where it's just
Yeah.
a very character-driven story. It's a very subtextually driven story where there is so much going on. These characters have so much depth and life, and it's all sort of inspired by this sort of same situation that Cyrano was going through, where
Unrequited love.
unrequited love, and a feeling of, there's so much in this play about Sia's just feelings of unworthiness and what that means. And we all have, I think, what's very appealing about this play is we all have something inside us, some sort of obstacle that makes us question whether or not we're really worthy of good things in our life. And I think
Oh my God, that's so true.
I think that's what makes this play so, I think, appealing to such a wide audience. Like Cyrano appealing, and what makes this play appealing.
Well, I'm glad you went there.
We're all struggling.
Yeah.
with that.
Sure,
We're all struggling with that.
because you're running these
Yeah.
in repertory, right?
We
So
are.
people are going go between Cyrano, now it's
Yeah.
Burning, right? So you were talking about the story, and of course I was going to say for the audience watching, might be wondering how do we go from a man with a big nose down to a woman with this horrible situation, but it really is a timeless story, and we've seen extrapolations in movies even. You think of the Steve Martin film Roxanne, you think of Truth About Cats and Dogs, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel that way, especially having them run in repertory that
Yeah.
way? Do you find it's a timeless sort of tale?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what we try to do. That's the mission of Resonance, is to tie together and say, well, why has this classic play lasted? Like, why do we still care about this play? And then we create a new work that really highlights that. So I think why people care about this play is because we all have obstacles to love. And that's what Burning is about too, is like what gets in the way of Sia really finding love. And for her, it's this mission that she's on to bring justice to these women who have suffered.
Okay, you're quite an advocate for prison reform.
I
Now
am.
you're taking on this. And
I am.
you were
I'm very lucky to have things that I can. It's not that I'm so good at finding these missions, but these missions seem to come to me, and I'm humbled and I'm blessed and I'm grateful that I'm a part of something that feels so important. And this play feels really important to me, and I feel like it's a message that we all need to partake in, because this is our military. This is OUR. This is our military. They serve us and we serve them. And when you look at the big questions, we have to look at them as a society. And just like with prison reform, I very much am grateful that Orange has given me the ability to have a profile and a voice about where we are with prison reform, and the Doe Fund and the Clemency Project and the Women's Prison Association, where we are with the privatization of prison. And I think that that's not quite working for us when you look at what's going on in Pennsylvania. Every prisoner, I believe the statistics are, it's one prisoner, it's 3 prisoners hires 1 guard. So there's an economic equation there. There's a job, unemployment, employment relation equation there, and you can't put that together and not say that you don't want to keep your prisons full. And so that's a little bit of a problem for me. And I've heard stories time and again of, if you go to trial in Pennsylvania, you're going to do time. You're going to go to prison. And there have been so many cases of graft and judges taking bribes. And I mean, there are so many wonderful judges, and there's so many wonderful examples of the goodness of humanity in all of this. But we just have to be careful that there's a checks and balance in place. And I think we incarcerate more humans in this country than any other first world nation, more women than any other first world nation. Our prisons are multi-generational. The grandfather is there, the son is there, the grandson is there. I mean, it's what is that? And it's I believe it's 80 grand a year to keep a prisoner in prison. And how much is it to keep a child in school? Is it 80 grand or is it less? Or is it probably about the equivalent? So where do we really want to put our money? And we are losing whole generations of human beings to our prisons. And this is our raw resources. The human is a raw resource that, what if Steve Jobs had been thrown into prison? And that's not such an outlandish question. There but for the grace of God go any of us. And so I think it's really important that we think about, yes, there are people that absolutely belong in prison and they have some really serious, horrible, horrible, horrible issues that is terrible. But then there are people in prison that make terrible mistakes. They just make terrible mistakes. But is this getting them back in the system? Is this giving society back what it needs to profit as a society in terms of the bigger picture? I'm not saying people shouldn't pay for their ills or their wrongdoings, but we have to look at what's going on in our country in a big picture way.
You've been obviously a great advocate, so now I think with this play, there'll be a whole new
I'm
issues
so
that'll come out,
excited. I'm so excited
What do you
to
think
help
the
to
big-
be an advocate for Don't Ask, Don't Tell. In terms of it doesn't exist anymore,
That's right.
but we must learn from our history. And what was really eye-opening to me about the Don't Ask, Don't Tell was that it could be held over your head. Like if someone in the military found out that you were gay, they could threaten you with exposure or discharge if you didn't do what they wanted. So it becomes a tool of bribery for sexual favors, for whatever you want to bribe somebody for. And so the Don't Ask, Don't Tell thing was a place that afforded the abuse of power.
This put women in such an awkward position
Yes.
because there was something that was going on perniciously called lesbian dating. And what this was, when people who were superior officers would go to these women that they suspected of being gay, and they would say, "Prove to me you're not gay, sleep with me." And so straight women, of course, don't want to take them up on that, and gay women, of course, don't want to take them up on that. So women in general get put in this terrible position, whether or not they're gay or straight, to basically make a decision. Are they going to compromise their own bodies to prove they're not gay, or are they going to say no and then risk being called gay and then dishonorably discharged from their post? So this was a pernicious problem, and thank goodness that law has been repealed, but it still goes on because even though the law is no longer repealed, people who are labeled as gay and lesbians in the military are still not treated with the same equanimity and fairness that they should be.
Sure.
There's still a lot of prejudice against and discrimination against people who identify as anything as non-heterosexual.
Right, so it's so important what you're doing here. So what do you think the big takeaway would you like for audience members to walk away with from this play?
Well, I'd love audiences to come see it. I hope people do. It's only running through February, these two plays, so you got to come now. You got to get your tickets now. I think I'd like them to walk away with that understanding that we need to fight.
Yeah.
That we all need to fight for whatever it is we believe in, and that you have to pick a battle, and whatever your way of helping that battle is, whether it's standing at the marathon for breast cancer and handing out water bottles, whether it's running in that breast cancer run, whether it is doing a play, thankfully, to Resonance about women in the military, whatever your battle is, you need to get out there and fight. And I think that we cannot be an apathetic society of civilians who, because Kmart is open and Walmart is open, because we don't have any real problems in the terms of Syria, we're being kicked out of our country, we all have real problems. Life is not easy for anyone. But I think also there are great rewards for us all in taking on something that we feel strongly about and helping to get the word out.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
and
would
to
you
tell-
say?
I would say that at the end result of this play is to tell your personal truth, whatever that means, whatever mission you're on in life, whatever if your personal truth is simply I want to love my family, great, but tell your personal truth. For Sai, that's complicated.
Yeah, it
And
is.
I think that's the lesson she learns in the end, is that it's complicated, that she has to walk a line between her personal life and her passion for justice for these women. So tell your personal truth.
Absolutely. And get out there and help others.
And help others.
Eloquently said by both
And
of you.
I don't do enough, and I'm not great, and I'm only a cog in the wheel, and I have no right to preach. But it feels so good to be a part of anything where you can say, hey, we're getting the word out.
Yeah.
Hey, this happened. Hey, we need to look at this. Hey, we need to understand that. You know, it just feels helping whatever cause you want, wherever you are in your life, it's only going to make you feel like life is more worthwhile. And that's such a blessing. So
you're getting the word out through the power of theater through February 28th
Yep.
in repertory with Cyrano Bergerac.
Yep.
A Resonance Ensemble here at the theater at St. Clair.
We are downstairs at the theater. They're upstairs setting the set right now.
Stage management is walking
by.
People warming up. It's very la-di-da down here. It's very you know, the plaza has nothing on us. Very shishi. But anyway, yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our pleasure.
Yeah, amazing. Oh my God. Thank you.